I'm Matt Willis, Marin County Public Health Officer with a COVID-19 update for June 2nd. Today is our first day in the yellow tier, or least restrictive tier, in the state blueprint for a safer economy. We'll remain in this tier until June 15th, when we, along with the rest of the state, say goodbye to the whole colored tier system into a wide reopening. In 2 weeks, all sectors can be fully open without capacity limits indoors or outdoors. In Marin, we don't intend to place any regulations that are more restrictive than what is allowed by the state. Over the coming weeks, we'll continue to provide guidance as we reopen, but today I'd like to explain why I think we're ready to take this step on June 15th. The most important reason is our vaccination rates. Today, over 87% of residents aged 12 and older in Marin County have received at least one dose, and 75% are fully vaccinated. These are the highest vaccination rates among the 58 counties in California. And while the data isn't regularly calculated at the national level, an analysis done 2 weeks ago showed Marin had the highest rates in the nation. This leads directly to the next reason I feel more confident in a safe reopening for us in Marin, and that's low levels of community transmission. Our case rates are 1.2 cases per 100,000 residents, one of the lowest rates in the state. Case counts, hospitalizations, and deaths are the lowest they've been in a year in Marin. Because vaccines are so effective, serious COVID-19 cases are overwhelmingly among those who are unvaccinated. Today in Marin, the only people hospitalized with COVID-19 are unvaccinated. The only confirmed death in the past month was someone who was unvaccinated, and we're down to one significant outbreak, in which cases are mainly among, again, people who have not been vaccinated. 93% of all cases countywide since March 1st were among people who are not fully vaccinated. The pattern couldn't be clearer, that being unvaccinated is an ongoing risk, but one that we have control over. There are a lot of reasons for our high vaccination rates and lessons about what went right, but most of the credit goes to our community for valuing your own personal health and the health of our community by choosing to be vaccinated. Our job in public health and healthcare was to remove all barriers and aggressively support our most vulnerable communities. Today, our vaccination rates among our Latinx residents, who were hardest hit by this pandemic as part of our essential workforce, are actually higher than any other group, including their white counterparts. We still have a lot of progress to make, but with such high rates, it's important to recognize the privilege that the United States has more access to vaccines than almost any other nation. It's reasonable to assume the most highly vaccinated communities in the U.S. are in fact among the most highly protected communities in the world. Along with other Bay Area counties, we may be able to model what it looks like to put this period of the pandemic behind us due to high vaccination rates. Another reason I think we're ready to reopen is effective monitoring. We have the necessary systems in place to track the situation closely and respond to surges in cases when they arise. Our epidemiologists have developed strong and timely systems to detect outbreaks. Our labs monitor for concerning variants from around the globe, and our contact tracing staff can interrupt the spread of disease quickly. So while Marin County Public Health maintains its focus on this pandemic, our response will be based a lot more on personal choice and an understanding of shared responsibility than on specific regulations. Finally, I'm confident that we can reopen more safely because our community has shown what it takes to protect one another through this pandemic. In every chapter of our response, whether it was testing rates, following the mask guidance, physical distancing, or reopening schools safely, sticking together and sticking with the science has allowed us to remain more open and have more freedom safely. And we have each other to thank for that. Thank you for doing your part.